So to me, it's kind of like night and day between the feels of the two apps, right? So that's something that initially, right off the bat, I think is going in the favor of the Feelbook. So recently there has been kind of a slew of backing track apps geared towards jazz musicians wanting to elevate their practice experience from basically just playing with a metronome to being able to experience playing with a band without necessarily having to go to New York, right? One of the most recent ones that came out that everyone loves is Quartet, and I reviewed that one and gave my thoughts. But one of the things about that one was, even though that the functionality was great, I really enjoyed the functionality of it and had a lot of good things to offer. I felt like the actual backing tracks themselves, playing with it for a while and using it with students, is kind of lacking. I would say it feels a little robotic. And for years, I've been using Phil Wilkinson as my main backing track guy, and I still recommend Phil. I think that his backing tracks are amazing. But just a couple days ago, Jonathan Kreisberg released his version of this. So this video is going to be my initial impressions on this app, looking at its functionality, its feel, and, is it worth the cost of it? With this one, unfortunately, it is a subscription model, unlike Quartet, which is a one-time purchase. However, you do have to purchase 4 apps to get their whole library. So that is a downside with Quartet. With this one, it's all contained with one app, so that's nice. The subscription pricing is $6.99 per month, $16.49 for 3 months if you purchase it in bulk, and then $47.90 for a year. And they're supposed to be adding new tunes every month, which is good. So let's look at the app itself. All right, so I'm on the desktop version of the app, but you can get the app for iPad and iOS and Android too, which is a benefit over Quartet, which I don't believe has Android support, so that is nice. Now, if we look at this, right, it comes up with, initially, these are, it's a good selection of tunes. It's not as comprehensive as Quartet launched with, but again, they're promising new tunes every month, so that is a good thing. But initially, this is a great list to start with, and these are all tunes that will be called at pretty much any jam session, so that is good. And how it works is that you have to download each one by simply clicking the download button here, right? So that will download it to your device, and then you can access all the features. So if I go to Alone Together, for example, this is what it looks like. So I think it was smart that they went with a similar version to iReal Pro. Now, I have my criticisms with that app. I think it becomes a crutch for a lot of people, but this is an interface that people are used to. So unlike Quartet, they're going with an interface that people are used to looking at, and I think that's a positive right off the bat. And how it works, right, is that you can click on wherever you want the track to start. If you click and drag, you can do a loop of a various section of the tune. On iPad or iOS, you literally just hold the screen where you want, and then you drag it. So it's the same functionality there. And to disengage the loop setting, you go down here, and that engages or disengages it. Now, as far as what it sounds like, let's just listen to it. And if we could go to different choruses, right? So let's go somewhere in the middle where it's sort of picking up, right? All right, and just for reference, before I even give my thoughts or opinions, to be fair, let's compare this then to the exact same tune, right? And I'm not messing with any of the time yet. This is just the native time. So let's go over to Quartet, listen to the same tune in their native time for comparison. let's go back and listen to the feel book. So to me, it's kind of like night and day between the feels of the two apps, right? So that's something that initially, right off the bat, I think is going in the favor of the feel book, is that it literally feels like you're playing with real musicians. This is the closest I think that it comes to with just like the piano, drums, bass that I've heard, really. Phil Wilkinson is the organ trio guy, and his feel just like this. So this is, I would say, the closest to just playing with people that you can probably get at this point in time. Now, let's look at some more functionality between it. So if we look here, right, we have the, you can control the tempo. And unfortunately, I think one of the kind of annoying things is you can either hold it and it'll move kind of slowly, or you can click it and it'll move. I think in the future it'd be cool to add like a scroll wheel here, like kind of like on Pro Metronome. That'd be pretty cool. But for now, this is how you do it. And let's listen to the different variations, right? So let's go back to the top and I'll adjust the tempo a little bit. So originally it was at around 168, so let's go slower. Let's go somewhere in the middle where it sort of picks up, right? Yeah, to me that feels good. Like again, I think as you slow down a lot of these apps, the piano, especially on the longer chords, and the sustain on the ride cymbal kind of sounds weird. And this one, I believe, only lets you go down to a certain point. Yeah, like for this one, it's 84. So if we listen to what it sounds like at 84, so it sounds a little funky. To be fair, though, it still feels, I think the bass still feels okay. But, and also to be fair, on Quartet, you don't have a, I don't think you have a range that you can go as far as the lowest tempo or the highest tempo. But again, on these extremes, right, this was recorded at 168 originally, now it's at 84. And so, of course, it'll sound varied on these extremes, and that's something to keep in mind with these ones that are using real audio versus generative. I do think in the future, if they are making improvements, it could be cool to have something where they record it at one tempo and then a slower tempo, so that way when you're moving between the settings, it kind of switches seamlessly to the lower tempo once you get to a certain point. Because I know a lot of students that I teach, they want to work at slower tempos initially, and for some of these, it is difficult to practice that. So that's why apps like Drum Genius are so great. But if you want to have the chords behind you, it'd be cool to have an app where you have a lot more flexibility and it's still real audio. I know that's difficult and I'm not a programmer, but that's something that could be cool with this app in the future. You can also change the pitch, right? So let's bring the tempo back up here and we can change the pitch, see what that sounds like. Yeah, not too bad, honestly. You can vary the pitch and that doesn't sound too crazy. Whole steps down, not bad. We go more. Yeah, to me it feels fine. Of course, the extremes, let's see. I think the piano and the drums on this extreme, right, being extreme like the key, sound fine. The bass is a little wobbly down there, but you know, that's fine. Let's see what it sounds like. Yeah, to me the drums and the bass sound great. The piano, of course, at this key might sound a little funky, but that's to be expected. So overall, just the audio, I think, is a huge plus. I'm very impressed with the way that the audio sounds for me in this compared to Quartet. Also, the functionality is super cool. On Quartet, this is really annoying. I hate how you have to download the different mixes. But here, right, now you can just control that. So if I want to practice without piano, that easy. If I wanted to play without drums, right? It's that easy. You could also even just solo an instrument, right? You can listen to bass lines, transcribe the bass lines, make it even drum genius if you wanted to, and just play along with the drums. Or if you wanted to work on your comping, right, you could just transcribe the piano if you're a piano player. Or a guitar player, right? So I really dig that functionality of the Fieldbook. One of the other things that I really like about this, that's something that I don't believe is on Quartet, so correct me if I'm wrong, but each of the tunes has sort of a description about the history of the tune, where it came from, and you know, some real substantial meat behind it. And I think that's really good when you're playing jazz. The history is a really big part of it, so I'm really happy that they included this. I'm also excited to dig into some of this and learn things about these tunes that I didn't know. And I believe, too, that they talk about why they chose certain changes over other ones, too. So that's a cool thing. This also tells you, like, the band lineup. So, for example, on All the Things You Are that we listened to, we can see our band here. And it's cool because then you can go and, you know, look up these players and see what they do, because they're very heavy cats, right? So just to recap, right, some of the pros of this app. The feel is very good. You can easily change the mix, right? You can easily jump and loop around the tune. You have info for each tune. The interface is very easy. Various tempos feel good and various keys feel good within reason, right? And it's also one app for everything. I had downloaded the same thing on all three of my iPad, iOS, and Mac devices, and it was very easy. Cons, it's a subscription model, unfortunately. I think we're all tired of subscriptions, but you know, you are getting new features each month, so that is something to consider. Limited selection right now. Of course, they're going to add that in the future, so that is a con at the moment. Also, there's no AirPlay with this app, to my knowledge. I tried to get it to work, and I couldn't. So if that's something that is included in the app, it maybe make it a little more obvious on how to do that, or if that's not included, I would like to see that implemented in the future for people who want to stream it to other things from their devices. I think that tempo switching could also use better functionality, right? Maybe a scroll wheel instead of having to click and hold, or maybe just increase the speed that when you click and hold, it goes through the tempos. Also, it has a fixed amount of choruses. So initially that's fine. You're probably not going to play more than 5 choruses, right? But it could be cool to have something where you loop choruses, like you could loop the sections of the tune. So if you wanted to infinitely just play a chorus over and over again, you could. All right, so to close this video, I'm going to play over the track just solo for a chorus. The main thing about this app is just how it feels to play over. So hope you enjoy. Appreciate you watching. Again, the link to purchase the app will be in the video description below, along with some of the other backing track apps that I believe are worthwhile or other ones that I use.